probably did 50 pounds of mushrooms. Now, 10 years later, we can do as high as between 4,000 and 5,000 pounds a week. So commercial mushroom growing is very different from just growing some mushrooms in the backyard. Why? We use our bottle system. That is a Japanese system, and 60,000 jars in there at a time. It takes about 28 days to sit in incubation, and basically what happens there is that they are now filled with spawn. We've pasteurized all of the growing medium that's in there, and they sit there and start to create their root structure. Once we take them out of there and we head on over to this kinkaki machine, which is right here. Kinkaki means to scrape germ, meaning we take off a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch, and we actually activate the growing of the mushrooms. So when we do that, then we put it into these growing rooms. This growing room has been disinfected, waiting for the next batch to come in. But I'm gonna now show you, after 8 days, what a growing room looks like and what the harvest looks like as well. So when we...
Yeah, you use like the solid
And so which mushroom is this now?
So this is the royal trumpet, also known as the ali'i mushroom. We're gonna be tasting that too.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
you're harvesting right now.
So we're harvesting them right now,
And
then
you
we're
have,
gonna be bagging them all up in here.
and so the ones on the other side look a little smaller, so they're waiting a day or two yet, or?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Also, we have, let me see, is there a different variety?
Oh, I see.
Very good, you showed them, yes.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna try the POP.
Sometimes people see them in the marketplace and they're beautiful mushrooms. They're not quite sure what to do with them. So we'll start with the ali'i. This is a very dense, meaty mushroom. Sometimes they've left a little bit on the base. It can still be trimmed. That's just our growing medium, which you know now is a sawdust, wheat bran, and corn cob that has sap. All right, so a couple ways to prepare the ali'i. I absolutely adore this mushroom when it's cut in a medallion. I've put it over an angel hair pasta before with some pesto, and we really felt like we were eating scallops. It was so delicious. So there's another way to cut it in its profile shape. Makes a very unique appearance of the mushroom, and it's very, very crisp, dense. It's such a dense mushroom, they say you can grate it and create mush browns in the morning instead of your hash browns. And it can get quite large. If you like stuffed mushrooms, you can take an apple core and take the center out of this mushroom and then go ahead and add, you know, if you like to stuff with sausage and vegetables and additional mushroom, or a crab and panko crumb is, I think, going to be a delicious stuffing for this. The other thing that we like to share with people when they come to the farm is that a lot of folks, butter is so delicious on mushrooms, but as far as cooking your mushrooms in butter, butter has a tendency to not be able to reach the high temp we want to cook our mushrooms in without starting to burn. So we utilize oil. I've used peanut oil. We have olive oil today. Coconut, macnut oils are good alternatives. So we have 2 mushrooms that have the shortest shelf life of all. These last about a week to 10 days. You need to get them eaten out. This is our gray oyster and the piopini. So both of these, we intentionally leave a little bit of that substrate on it because it helps with that shelf life. Keep it growing a little longer. The piopini chefs sometimes will actually leave in a bouquet, tempura batter, and serve it on top of a steak. Beautiful presentation that way. I'm just going to turn them loose here. Same on this gray oyster. So the gray oyster is a mushroom, as well as our abalone, that pairs very nice with Asian flavors such as soy, ginger, let's see, we have rice wine vinegar. Those are nice things. It goes very beautifully with seafoods and white meats. The piopini we can just place on top of a little bit of everything. You can add it to your stir fries, serve it on top of your steaks, all kinds of goodies that you can top utilizing that piopini. The ali'i, on the other hand, has quite a tendency to absorb the other flavors that you put it with, so it has tremendous versatility. The abalone is one mushroom that we don't recommend eaten raw, and it sometimes has a little bit of black on here and a little bit of gray at the base. We're going to trim that off. That little bit can be slightly bitter, so I'm just going to eliminate that. But the black is only the primordia. It's just the next little mushroom coming on. So today we're just going to do a quick and simple, which is we're going to dice these all up, cook them all together so you can get a little taste of each. Just going to add some fresh garlic, salt and pepper. So one of the other things we always like to teach too while people are here, when you see the button mushrooms in the store, on the salad bar, and you know, the movement is for us to eat our foods as raw and as close to the vine or branch that we can to get the most nutrients out of it. Mushrooms are different. The fungi has a cellular structure that actually requires that heat be added in order to release the nutrients. So when you're actually eating a little mushroom off the salad bar, I always thought that was the healthiest way you could possibly eat it, but in reality, you're getting the fiber and a lot of the moisture content, but not as much of the nutritional benefits. So I've got some really hot oil here, so we hear a sizzle when it hits, and I'm going to show a little bit of restraint and let things have a tendency to, a chance to brown.
So, you know, with regard to the mushrooms have a lot of health benefits. The mushrooms are filled with antioxidants. They have a lot of potassium, selenium, which has a lot to do with bone structure. And the antioxidants really helps with regard to creating a much stronger immune system. We have a wonderful tea here, which is the maitake mushroom tea. And what's nice about this one is it's backed with green tea as well. So it's really very, very high in antioxidants. But what's nice about this one, besides having the cancer-fighting properties to it, and also serving as an immune booster, we have it in 20 individual bags, so you can have it by the cup. But what's really great about this is it helps promote good memory. So I'm going to pass this around so you folks can take a look at it.
Other things we like to mention, there's very little moisture loss, a lot less shrinkage from our mushrooms. You've seen how clean of an environment we grow them in. We don't even give that recommendation to have to wash or scrub these mushrooms before you use them, so, which is really nice. Sometimes with the buttons, the creminis, you'll wash them beforehand, and when they hit the pan, they have a tendency to sometimes just get wetter and shrink more, and they're tough to get that nice browning sauteed edge on. So the other thing we're going to do is, of course, add our salt towards the end, because the salt will also pull that moisture out of the mushrooms, so we're going to put that in at the end. So I'm going to add a little pepper halfway through here, and then I'm going to put my fresh garlic in right at the end too, because it can also get bitter as it gets a little too hot.
You noticed Jane went ahead and tossed in the garlic kind of midway through. The reason she didn't use it in the beginning is because she doesn't want to burn it. Because once you put garlic in the beginning as well as butter and you burn it, the whole batch is bitter throughout the entire time. So try to restrain yourself and not put it until at least halfway through the cooking process. She also adds the salt at the very end. She just turns off the pan so that the heat can start to just cool off. But she puts the salt at the very end simply to season it exactly what the salt is supposed to be doing, largely because she doesn't want to use a lot of the salt. And when you put salt in the beginning, it actually dehydrates the mushroom. So you don't want to do that.
Butter cookie, they just leave the whole dried mushroom inside, so.
This one is mango. Yep.